Like, what did you see when you were out there? What did you see that you wanted to make sure those pictures showed, if you had to put it into words, into a few
I
sentences?
think especially with Black Astronaut and everything happened after 2020, Black Lives Matter, the women's rights, anti-vax, and you had just America going through all of that. I think I wanted to really get the honesty behind the rage.
Mm.
Like I really was I understand the anger, I understand the rage for photos, I get the burning cars, I get the signs and yelling at each other and all the discourse that was happening from that perspective. I get it. Like it's in the book too. But like again, there's reasons why some people really feel this way,
Mm.
and they really feel passion, they have testimony, they have conviction, they have things that have happened to them. There's a purpose behind it for a lot of people, and that's what I was searching for. And when you can kind of tell the difference when someone is just in the crowd versus someone that's really you
Mm.
know feeling what they're saying. It translates on the screen, like in the camera. You can't, like, when it's real, it's real. You cannot, if it's fake, it'll show. It will show, it will look like the emotions won't be there. And I'm a very emotional photographer. Like I go for emotion. So I think I just wanted to give a voice to people and show a different perspective, because everything I saw on CNN and everywhere was just all about the rage and the fire and I'm just like, I don't think that's what's
That ain't it.
really the whole, and it's a part of it, but it ain't the whole truth.
Mm.
And that's why I made Black Astronaut. I took 3 years to do it. Like I didn't just, okay, stop, it's over, the verdict and all that. I kept going. I kept going to the different routes of what America was trying to say, even from the partying scene when people were rebelling against the lockdowns and all the vax rules and still hanging out in basements and partying and wanted to live. Like I went into that world too. Like there were so many things that America was trying to say. And I just wanted to give a raw, honest view on that without judgment. Because
Mm.
I don't want to be judged. I
Mm.
don't want to be judged. And that's the last thing I want to do to anyone else, because everyone deserves a chance to say what they feel. That's how I feel anyway.
Mm. And well, I guess that's the beauty of the photography too, is like there is no, it's just a picture, and people are
Mm-hmm.
gonna see it and they're gonna see what's there. But I'll ask still with
Yeah.
no judgment, but like, would you learn about, I guess I'll say it like this, like, would you learn about humanity from that? Did you learn anything about humanity as you started to understand the reasons, what was going on, what America was trying to say, all that?
um, Great question. It kind of is, to be honest with you, it really goes into don't be a slave to the algorithm. There's a lot from my experience. I would say, from what it felt like maybe 20% was out there. Whatever rally or event I was at, it felt like 20% knew what they were doing. 20% were down for whatever cause that was. 20% was, I've been doing this for a while. This isn't just, oh, today I
Mm-hmm.
picked this up and I'm on it. And then there's another 80 that's just following the crowd, you know. And I feel like I found out that a lot of our differences are made up on that phone. And a lot of our differences are whatever the algorithm, whatever we're reading, whatever shows we watch. And a lot of people in advertising, the whole point of advertisement is like, marketing is like to get you to funnel
Manipulation.
you into, yeah. So a lot of it, like when you ask a couple questions and just see like, okay, so what do you find out there's not much there,
Mm.
and not all the time, but a lot of the time. And even a lot of the arguments I was having, or discussions I was having, because, and this is an example I use. I remember when defund the police was going around, and I remember I'm from Newark, New Jersey. Okay, so like it's a community that is a beautiful community, all that great stuff, but it needs their police.
Mm.
So when I was talking to one of my friends that's in a nicer place, and she was telling me, yeah, I'm defund the police. I'm just like, so do you know that a lot of African American communities need the police, right? Like, no, I'm like, no, I'm telling you, like, the people, you're saying this because the online is saying this is the thing you're supposed to do, and this is the right thing for Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. But as a Black person that actually is from a Black community, no one is saying that.
Mm.
That is something that is being taught somewhere else. And I'm not saying that you can't feel that way about defunding the police. I'm just telling you, if you're doing this for Black lives,
Yeah, yeah.
you need to understand what Black lives are actually saying, like, so that was one of the things, for example, in terms
Mm.
of like following the vibe versus actually getting outside and meeting people, talking to people, connecting, knowing what you're talking about. And again, like before I started taking the photos for Black Astronaut, what I thought I was going to see was nothing like what I actually saw when I went out there.
Hmm.
So if anything, maybe I learned some about humanity for sure, but I also learned about the manipulation that we deal with as a humanity.
Hmm.
And the fact that what we get shown is often not what's really going on. Like, and if you talk about like the isolation, and we're all dealing with this, less communication and connecting is harder and all that other stuff. Like, that's real. All of us experience that. But with that comes more and more, again, where are you getting your information from, and how much of it is coming from talking with real people? That's the thing that I think makes the difference. Once you start talking to people, you start to realize it brings you back to reality. And I think we're missing that as a humanity right now.
Yeah, I would even say, and I think you'd agree with this too, you've touched on it, like having like a real talk and conversation with yourself too, because like to your point in the beginning of you got to know the reason, like there's a lot of people, I'm sure, to that 80% you're mentioning, who were genuinely well-intentioned, good people
Right.
trying to figure
Back
out
to
how
your
do I
point.
do something good? How do I make
Right.
this world a better place?
Right.
But if you're not digging deep to understand, like, hey, is that real for you? Is that really what's going on? Is this really connecting to something that you feel? You become like, you can't help become a slave to the algorithm because there's nothing to
Right.
ground yourself in.
Right.
You have no
That's
anchor
so
to say
real.
like this is my basis of it.
Right.
So, and I think that's where a lot of people get caught up, is they think like if I'm well intentioned, if I want to help, then it doesn't matter why I do it, what I'm doing,
Right.
how I'm doing it. But I think the
Right.
reality is like it does
It
matter why, even
does.
if you are well
Right.
intentioned. But just like it's hard to have conversations with people, as you said, it's hard to have an honest conversation with yourself. It's hard to really understand why. What do I really think? What do I really think about the police? What do I really think about Black
Yeah.
communities? Like, what do I
Yeah.
really think is the solution
What's
and
the
the answer
truth?
here?
What's to put all the
Hard,
fluff
man.
away and just sit with yourself
Yeah.
and be honest with yourself about, and figure out what you can do better. What's your habits? What's your real reality? What's your day to day?